From the Daily Mail, comedian podcaster says he's breaking free from the Trump cult after massive betrayal. I don't think Andrew Schulz was ever in a Trump cult or anything like that. But I do find this story interesting as he's more of a normie guy. He backed Trump, I believe, to a certain degree, which was huge for Trump. And I think with many, like with the comedians, normies, coming out critical of Donald Trump over the Epstein case, this is the first time I think we've truly seen something massively bad. We're in going into month 6 of Trump's second term.
What we're about to see is Tim Pool and his Myron breaking down Andrew Schulz's recent statements regarding his shift away from Trump allegiance. I'm still weighing my options on how to frame this discussion and what narrative approach to use, but I expect Tim will dive deep into debate mode on this subject. The key point here is that Schulz has grown increasingly critical of multiple administration decisions, particularly around deportation strategies, and most importantly, the handling of Epstein-related matters. This likely puts him in an awkward position. However, it's worth noting that Schulz never really branded himself as a diehard MAGA enthusiast. He was more of a Trump voter than anything else. This happens all the time. Folks make it clear they're not party line Republicans, but still backed Trump at the ballot box. Nothing unusual or surprising about that perspective. Of course, media outlets like the Daily Mail are spinning this into something much bigger than it needs to be. Let's jump in and watch Tim and his co-host have a strong reaction to Schulz announcing his departure from Trump's political orbit.
American, I'll make my own effing decisions, and I'll say whatever the F I want about whatever president is in power, Schulz said. They go to mention more. Says, you want to take no accountability for the fact you read a dead guy and a woman who couldn't speak, Schulz said, referring to Democrats. And I respect it. And we got this from Post Millennial. Only 21% of likely voters.
There's also this additional aspect, Andrew. Even though I'm not heavily committed to political factions these days, I need to raise a point that's likely clear to everyone here, but I'm confused about when budget reduction became such a priority. I don't recall Trump making that a campaign promise, and I'm confident about this because I have zero interest in slashing government spending. My philosophy is to generate whatever money is necessary and distribute it to citizens. That aligns with his approach, too. I've never supported the concept that we must restrict the federal budget. Really? That will never be achievable. Instead of throwing away resources on international aid currently, we should channel those dollars straight to Americans.
Thing he wanted Pam Bondi to say at the cabinet meeting that they had, yeah, it's nothing. We have nothing there. Forget it. And then today he's saying she should release everything. So I think Laura Trump was right when she was talking to Benny Johnson yesterday, and she said that he's hearing the noise on this. But yeah, I mean, this is a base that is not going to trust you just because they voted for you. That's not enough.
But I also don't take seriously. I was kind of on. I could see where he was coming from until he said, and he didn't cut spending, which to me is a constituency that doesn't exist in America.
If you look
I
at the
agree
June
with that.
numbers, if you look at the June numbers, I forget exactly what they were, but with the increase in tariffs and all this other stuff, we made a ton more money, and there were cuts.
I understand kind of the reservations around foreign policy actions, especially as it relates to Ukraine recently. But to me, this is just an America Party announcement. It's someone who's gotten a little bit frightened that, we're in the fray. You took a stand with President Trump and MAGA, and now it's getting dicey and he's cutting and running. It's easy to do, and I'm sympathetic with it. But as soon as you tell me that, oh, you're so mad because he's cutting spending and you want to, be in the middle and you're not extreme, you're just proving to me that you're not interested in being a part of a political coalition. Because
the other thing too is Andrew Schulz is low IQ. The list has been out forever. Literally, I've talked about it with Ryan Dawson. Whitney Webb has exposed it. A million people will know who are on the list, but yeah.
But it's not the complete everything. And it's not the confirmation from the DOJ, which Trump promised.
Yeah. No, I get it. But he's like harping on the list has been out. But again, he's just saying, Schulz says whatever he needs to say to sound cool and sound like he's in it. Like he's been doing this for a very long time. He talks out his ass. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But
these are normies, bro.
He is a normie when it comes
and exactly. And why do you think he's saying what he's saying?
Because that's what's cool now. He always says what's
it's
cool.
going to play. It's going to give him an audience?
Yeah.
Okay, that means Democrats are winning on the optics.
They are.
Tim needed to correct himself there. Yeah, Tim definitely had to backtrack on that statement. The whole lie better comment struck me as quite odd. I imagine it sounded strange to him in that moment as well. He probably thought, wait, I should clarify that immediately. People might pick up on this. All right, moving on. I wanted to pause here primarily because I need to remind everyone watching, make sure you've hit that like button, subscribed to the channel, and turned on notifications. I appreciate all the viewers tuning in, and I have to say, Tim's previous remark was genuinely bizarre.
It's like I said before, what the American public is really interested in is what I phrased before, which is we would need the intel community to step up and give it to us.
Democrats have went 4 years without making a peep about the Epstein client list. They didn't say anything when they had control of the government. This is all political opportunism. That's all that it is. No one should take anything they say seriously, but it is bad optics. And the people that, your average normies, people that don't watch a lot of political, don't
every
get a lot of
left-wing
political
commentator, if you look at their YouTube channel right now, it's all MAGA's melting, Epstein list is making them go crazy. They're beating us up on it big time.
Yeah.
Why is the Trump administration doing it? They're doing it. I'm sorry, it's on purpose.
Well, so
no question. Look, real quick. There's two plays, and I've already said it a million times. They do nothing. They literally just had to do nothing. They made this story. Pam Bondi went on TV. She made this story. They could have done nothing. The other issue is lie better. So they are making their bed, doing a piss poor job of managing this. And I don't mean literally they should come out and lie. I'm saying either put up or shut up. And they've flubbed this in every possible direction. And if it really is a Democrat hoax like Trump is saying, then it is his poor choices of once again, of people in his administration who are not doing this job.
You know what, Tim? I think because just from the beginning, right, from them rolling out the stupid ass binders and bringing these people in to give the flight logs and stuff like that tells me like they didn't take this seriously from the beginning. And then when they said, oh, just forget about it. Like, I don't think they understood how much the base wants to know about this. And when you got people like, Benny Johnson, who are huge, Trump supporters, coming out saying like, hey, we need the files, that should tell you something. So
I think
yeah, it's bad.
Your point is correct, especially on Benny. Andrew Schulz, I think, is the point. He's not a political guy. I don't expect.
I see what you're saying. Like the fact that he's coming out and saying it is a problem.
This is about perception and self-preservation. And I'm not saying that about to disparage Schulz as though he's panicked and like, no, I'm saying these personalities who are not in politics, they want to be on the right side of history. Yeah. And if right now the optics are half of MAGA is saying Trump is flubbing this, and all of Democrats have latched on as an attack vector, Schulz is going to be like, I'm with the bigger group.
Yeah, that's what he does.
But this is what I think they're missing. Call me Pollyannish or someone who's given too much credit to the administration. But here's my case. I think they're trying to get through the ugly fights that have to happen before the midterms, before another presidential election.
Which tariff income are we talking about? Listen, I could play along if that's what you want, but what actual revenue are we discussing? When exactly did these start materializing? I haven't witnessed any evidence of this. I'm not going to mislead viewers here. This person is essentially playing multidimensional chess games. The reality is, Trump dropped the ball on this situation, all right? And that's fine. That's acceptable. It will simply motivate more people to question what's really happening. This isn't an attack on Donald Trump personally. It's just another incident that might open people's eyes. That's positive. That works. But stop with this narrative that they're deliberately mishandling things now to clear all controversies before the midterm elections. What logic does that make?
Americans are voting next November. They've seen the fruits of the labor. They're seeing that you can drive end to end in LA in less than an hour, right? Because of immigration enforcement. They're seeing revenue from tariffs hit. They're seeing jobs for Americans and not foreign-born workers that I think people will care about. It's ugly to make a lot of that happen.
Like, in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to getting shit done, this Epstein thing is a drop in the bucket compared to getting the other stuff through that needs to be done. And then you can always revisit this later. But I also see Tim's perspective where you're right. Schulz talks to a very normie audience where if he says something like, release the client list, well, most Americans don't even know that the client list has been out forever, unless you're in this field.
It really is simple.
So optically, it looks bad.
I don't think the average person is going to know a lot about this.
No.
But at least.
Definitely not.
If I'd be willing to bet if you look at Andrew Schulz's comments.
Look, all right. Actually, not just occasionally, but constantly. Trump's enormous presence, the sheer scale of Donald Trump creates obstacles. This isn't personal animosity. I don't have issues with Trump himself interfering. Rather, it's because every discussion becomes centered around Trump. These documents have been withheld from the public for an extended period. For what reason? What information is being concealed? And to protect whom? For what purpose? That's the critical inquiry. This should remain the fundamental question, regardless of which leader is in office. However, the focus shifts to questioning Trump's motivations. I understand this perspective since he made campaign promises about it. Fair enough. Therefore, rather than examining what's preventing him from acting, it becomes repetitive Trump MAGA rhetoric, rather than asking whether there's an underlying factor we're overlooking and ignoring. That's where I had to stop myself, because I was falling into the same Trump-focused pattern, and realized I needed to step back. This will become solely about Trump. This issue extends far beyond Trump, and everyone needs to recognize that reality. Catch you all in the next video. Peaceful.